G'day, welcome everybody to the Edmonds Racing Review Show. We had a busy weekend starting Friday across 4 meetings. 13 runners, guys, for 3 winners, running at 23% strike rate. You guys, incredible. Keeping that strike rate right up there with the best in the land. Well done, Tobe. 131 winners now for the season, mate.
Yeah, it's been a good season. So I'm not quite finished yet either. So look, credit to everyone and thank all our owners and for their great support. And Carnival, just coming off that good carnival, is probably our best carnival ever. So it's just been a really, really super year for the stable.
Yeah, highlighted by the 64th Metro winner there on Saturday. That is a new Metro record for the stable, Trent. And good to do it in those black, red and white colours of tricolours. I mean, James Moss and the team there, so good of them to send Royal Witness up to us, A. And then B, it's pretty cool how it worked out. He was sort of on the float home, wasn't he? He'd run super consistent up here without winning. And I think it was James's idea, if I'm not sure if you guys chatted to him, but just said, should we give him one more? There's a 1,000-metre option there in a couple of weeks. And guess what? He duly delivered.
Yeah, that's right. Support's been very well received, and he's really honest, that horse. I must admit, it was against his usual pattern, but it was a win full of authority. Robbie was really soft on him, and James is a Roosters supporter, so that's not very good because we're passionate Manly men, So we'll have to have a chat about that. But no, it was all good. And he's been a model of consistency and certainly deserved that. It was a great effort.
Yeah, geez, talking of the league, how good is the league at the moment? There's some great, between the Eels, the Roosters, the Storm, the Panthers, it's some bloody ripping games at present. And nice to see my Warriors get up for a little win over the beaten up Broncos too over the weekend.
Was that their first win of the season, Bruce?
Mate, they haven't been near their fan. Imagine those guys. Like, they've done it tough, and they just keep turning up, the lads. Good on them. Anyway, hopefully we can string a few together now.
I thought you were in the Gold Coast Titans, weren't you?
Mate, I'm Warriors first, and then Gold Coast Titans second. I've got to go that way. So it's not easy for me, but I just keep turning up. And one day I'll be sitting in the stand there, win a grand final, and all will be good. It'll feel good.
Beautiful.
Let's get stuck into it, team. It started at Ipswich. I thought we'd touch on Ipswich because I thought Beats Me was super tough, Toby, for Maury Hayes and the team there. Robbie Fradd aboard.
Yeah, good effort. Maury rang me last week or the week before actually, and wanted to try to ride this guy quieter because he's been an on-speed type horse, and a couple of runs we've given him, he's run pretty hard and didn't finish off his last run. He sort of wanted to maybe reinvent him a bit. So it was good that Robbie was able to get him back. He drew reasonably good and good tempo in that race, and you could see the horse wanting to travel too kindly in behind him, but to his credit, Robbie was able to get him back and relax somewhat. And he was good and tough. It was a good, tough win, to be truthful. That horse is getting better as he gets into his preparation. He's going quite well, and holding condition well and everything. So it's good to win another one with that horse for those guys. And there's more wins in store for him if we can reinvent him a bit, if I can say that.
Yeah, understood. That was a step in that direction. I suppose possibly a Metro horse now, Tobe, have a crack at Metro level?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I think, we'll give him a shot at something there in the next couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah, righto. Nymeria for Archer Park. Trent, just touch on her quickly. Just a bit disappointing. Just didn't make up ground. She's doesn't seem to be in the best of form at the moment.
No, she was fairly ordinary. Not a great deal of excuse. Obviously they can't talk, but whether that run on the heavy track at the Gold Coast to start prior dusted her, who knows? But I think she's better than that, and she just went horribly. So back to the drawing board. She heads to Archer Park today, and we'll see what we do with her. But yeah, she was ordinary.
No, very good. All right, touch wood. We moved on to Eagle Farm there. Ocean Addict started favourite in the staying race there, And I suppose she's just struck a harder track. She followed the winner into the race and finished fifth. I mean, she tried her best as always, but maybe just the track being that little bit firmer there at Eagle Farm wasn't in her favour.
No, she has performed over there on that track though, like when it's been quite firm. So I think she doesn't look well. It doesn't look as good as she can, and she's got that wintry coat and a lot of scurf and muck all over her. So she had a bit of a reaction to some treatment, and we haven't been able to fix that up just yet. So she actually got down on all 4 bumpers on Saturday, which is unusual. So she's that would hurt. So a run probably in the circumstances isn't too bad. We'll pop her out. We'll pop her out for a little bit and get her right and run her again in a month or 6 weeks' time. I think it's probably the best way for her. It's better.
I was going to say maybe we went a bit quick, didn't we? So in hindsight, she doesn't hold any condition, doesn't eat that well, and backed up 2 weeks after her last win. So lesson to be learnt.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Understood. Heritage Sash went around. Obviously a super consistent galloper, Trent, but probably just got to the worst part of the track, right, and sort of couldn't work his way into the race, and finished 7th of 11 in the end. Yeah,
he was fair. Possibly off to the paddock now and restart with him. I think he's better than what he's showing. One thing that I will say is when he gets deep into his prep, he can produce a stinker. And that was the worst run of his career there on Saturday. So before Saturday, he hadn't finished any further back than 4th. So when I say stinker, that was pretty ordinary effort for him. Usually he's quite consistent without winning a great deal. And, just paddock bound. Paddock bound, yeah, all right. Tobe sort of mentioned that in the preview as well. He just said, this horse is coming to the end of his prep here now. He's had a few runs, and as soon as he was going to run a bad one, he'd be put out. And there you go. You hit the nail on the head. Royal Witness, we touched on already, Tobe. For the Tricolours team, he was fantastic. Now goes back south. I think there's a lot more options over that sprint journey for him in Sydney. So we'll go back to Joe Pride, and we might see him back in Queensland next winter, which would be great. Just wanted to touch on Robbie Frad, mate. I thought we might get Robbie on the show actually down the track, maybe for our preview show on Friday or something, or Thursday. But building a great record with us. I think it was his 24th win for us this season from 108 rides at 22%. And I must say, mate, I enjoy his post-race commentary. He's always straight to the point, full of enthusiasm. For a guy that's ridden everywhere and done it all, he loves his riding, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'll hand it to him. The other day, I wasn't quite sure how to ride him, or whether we just let him rip and see what happened. But he came out and said, "No, I'll get cover on him." And I sort of thought, well, geez, he ran pretty fast the other day, and I'm thinking, drawn out a bit, you're going to be able to get him back. And he just come out and got a 3 wide line. Followed guard of honour into the race before he peeled out from around it. And look, the horse is always going to win, even though the margin wasn't great. You see him change strides about 50 yards from the line, and I think the further they went, the further he would have won by once he did change strides. I think good win, and that also super consistent. We thank James Moss and the team for sending him to us, and hopefully he can. When he goes back to Joe, they can knock a couple of races off down south before he heads back to us.
It was pretty soft. He gave him one tap with the stick at the furlong, and away he went. So,
just touching
on found the way to ride him.
Yeah, exactly. Like
probably map.
Yeah. So I think I think come to us with the thought he was a really on speed type horse, and our horses up here, the tempo is a lot stronger than it is in Sydney. And you get 4 or 5 of those fast things in there, you get annoyed all the time. And if you haven't got another dimension, you're going to struggle at different times unless you're that much better than them. And Saturday was a perfect example of being able to bring him back, and he finished good, finished strong. So hopefully we've learnt something.
Yeah, and just quickly on the changing strides for the viewers. Obviously horses lead with either the left leg or the right leg in running. And what Toby's saying there is when, let's say this horse is leading with his right leg around the turn, and as soon as he switched over to his left leg, he just found that little bit of extra energy. Wasn't as fatigued on that side and found that extra level. And something Jeff Lloyd talks a lot about. You don't want a horse changing stride a lot in a race, do you, Toby and Trent? It sometimes means that they're feeling something. But if a horse and jockey can combine and switch legs for the last sort of furlong, you can really find an extra couple of lengths.
Yeah, Jeff was a big advocate for that. Like you watch some of his rides around Doomben, especially. I remember particular ride. Hootson's a classic example when she was young. He did it again later in her career when she broke the course record there. YPO is another one that he was able to get to do it, and once they get onto that fresh leg, they just find another gear. And Jeff, as I say, he's a big advocate for it. I think he learning in Hong Kong. Joe Moreira, I think, taught him, and he's teaching his kids the same. So look, there is something in it. I never thought about it much, but there is something in it.
Very, very interesting. All right, we were at the home track there on Saturday too at the Gold Coast, and Mondina kicked things off for us in the maiden 1,800 metres. Things just didn't seem to go well for this horse. He sort of sort of got back early and then sort of worked up to a position and then got pushed out 3 wide. And then as he tried to make his run, everyone else made their run. He got pushed deep into the outside of the track at the Gold Coast there, and probably did well to finish 4th and hung on pretty well.
He'll improve again once we push him out over further. I'm going to go the pot here. I don't think the ride was much chop, especially down the back, sort of passing the 1400. Horse inside Anthony was one off the fence and stayed one off the fence. I was hoping that he could have pushed him down to the fence and got into sort of the one-off spot. And then all of a sudden, the horse that was behind, because there was a gap up the fence, ticked up and kept us 3 wide. He put him into the race from the half mile. It was a disaster, really, to be honest. So I think we look for him in a maiden of a little bit further. Programming is a little bit tricky for that, but I was trying to find hopefully like a 2,200 metre maiden in town and just go there 3rd up, because I think he can win pretty quickly. He grounded the line okay, made steady progression, but I just thought things never worked out as I would have wanted them to. And we actually wanted to ride him a little bit further forward, and it just never happened. He fell out of the barriers, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, no, good as gold. We were looking out for Mondina next time with a slightly better barrier and hopefully better run in transit, and we'll see
that run. It was a good run, really. If you think about it. Like, I don't know why jockeys do that at the Gold Coast. They continually do it. It's one of my pet hates, and I always stress to them, don't get flushed out, because when you get flushed out, that's what happens. You end up going around the world. You're out on the worst part of the camber. Horse are halfway up the straight by the time you get around the corner, and he kept running on. So he's done a pretty good job. And Trent's right; he'll improve. Yeah. Now he's had the run at the 1,800. Once we get him out to 2,022, he'll come into his own.
Yeah, and I thought Alan in his video afterwards was pretty. he said he just kept on saying, "Don't worry, he'll be better next time," when he just gets an easier time with things. So.
Yeah,
Wookie was good, Tobe. Archer Park bounced back to a bit of form. Obviously, had run well at Ipswich, 2 starts back, and then before a bit of a disappointing run. But that was a good effort too, on pace, and just got caught out late when tiring over 1,300 metres.
He's another one that another one of my pet hates, sitting in the run where he was. I don't get why I don't get how they sit there half length outside a horse that's on the fence. Well, why not just cross to the fence or come back? You never see him win, and you're the one working so hard, and that horse did it, and the fresh horse got him late. So run was good. It was real good. I would suggest another poor ride.
Yeah, understood. Look out for Wookie next time out. And Kasarina Star in the last, well, her typical style, Trent, is to get back and run on. And she got back, but she just wasn't able to run on there on Saturday. Maybe the pace of the race against her, or was your feeling that she just wasn't up to her best on the day?
Tempo was muddling. She was actually in not a bad spot early, sort of coming to the first turn around the sort of 1,400 metre chute there. And then once the speed back right off, it was awkward as anything. Ended up out the back. The sprint went on from sort of the half mile. She was off the bridle. Would have probably liked to have seen her finish off a little bit harder. That was a fairly disappointing effort from mine. But hopefully we can sort of turn her around and she can get back to winning form soon, because that was pretty ordinary.
Yeah, right. I see. Hopefully she can bounce back to form next time out there for the owners. Sunny Coast, you're up there yesterday, Trent. Our first runner was Sulking, who started favourite. I had the one of those great situations where I was sitting and watching the race with the owner, $2 favourite. Here we go, champagne on ice, Mr. Ron Gilbert, and yeah, I tell you what, there's nothing brings you back to earth than when you get rolled as a short price favourite there with Sulking, Tobe.
It's disappointing. You had a pretty soft run up there too. I was flabbergasted to see her drop off as she did. So back to the drawing board with her. She was. I can't say anything more than disappointing, really.
Yeah, and I understood. I think she's obviously you'll give her a bit of a break, and we'll have one more crack there for Highgrove, and she'll go after stud. She's obviously a very, very well related filly, being by Snitzel out of a group winning half sister to Street Cry and that Shambadale family and everything. So she'll have a big future in the breeding barn, no doubt, for Ron and Deb. And she has natural toe too. Isa Rocket, Trent, she was disappointing. Another one there over 1,000 metres, just not finishing her races off.
No, got into a fairly good spot, in my opinion. Took the blinkers off her to allow her just to chill out and relax, but seemingly a little bit uninterested. She being very pig-headed and hot and hormonal behind the barriers, not wanting to go in, and then just doing things wrong, sort of running off the track. Just doing a bit too much wrong, and it's costing her immensely. She actually can work up really nicely at home. Level of work's pretty good. And she goes to the race and done that twice now. So back to the drawing board there. Not a great deal more to add. Pretty ordinary.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, another one that's probably on the way to the breeding barn there at some stage soon.
Yeah.
That filly, a well-bred filly by Fastnet. Deep Echo, she was having her first start this prep. Tobe, I think, you mentioned to Matthew Samblom, the owner, that, she was just going to be ride her quiet over 1,000 metres and let her find the line. And I suppose things went pear-shaped from the barrier. She missed the kick by 3. Hard to do that over 1,000 metres. But she, found the line okay, and all in all, not a disaster. And we roll on to a next start where we'd see a great improvement, you'd think.
Yeah, no, she's got a lot of improvement, natural improvement in her. And you're right, it just went horribly wrong from the barrier. And, she ran on fairly. We'll find the right race for her in a couple of weeks' time. But she's going good at home and will win pretty quickly when we find the right race for her, the right distance.
Step up in journey and rider for speed, I reckon. That's the go.
Yeah. Agree.
Perfect. Good as done. 3-year-old filly there by Deep Field, and she's also Bob's, so she's got a month left of Bob's, I think, too. So we might play into that as well. Powering. Tobe picked that he'd been working well at home and might put up a better performance, and I thought he was better. It was very hard to make up ground, and he kept trying hard to the line.
Yeah, still not. He's been up a while. Maybe might need a break. To my eye, he had a good run throughout and just didn't finish off. So, he's been working well. Sometimes they do that. And that means they've just about had enough as well. So.
He did get a little bit wide, sort of on the opposite side of the camber, but looked like he was really going to let rip, and he was then just even. So he's an odd one. He's got no tactical speed whatsoever. You draw a good barrier, you want to try and make use of him, and he sort of flounders out, and then you're on the back foot from the get-go. So, as Dad said, might need to just a little freshen up and then go again.
Yep.
Start again. Okay, very good. All right, we waited to the lucky last. It was Toby's best bet of the weekend. It was race 10 on a Sunday at the sunny coast. If anyone had any spare punting money left, I'm sure it all went on Green Jacket. And I wouldn't say you would have been confident probably until about 20, probably about 10 metres from the line, Trent, in the end, mate. Andrew gave him a beautiful run. Like, he just had him on a lovely long rein. You just thought this horse is going to let rip. But in the straight, he just couldn't find any daylight, and found it late going back towards the fence, and the horse duly delivered and really attacked the line to win.
I was down on the outside fence watching with his strapper, Corinne. She's taken him every start, and she said, "Oh, geez, in a bit of trouble here." So we get to the furlong, and I went, "I think we're in a bit more than trouble. Can't win from there," type of thing. And I said, "Well, that's it. We've had a shit day, and it's going to get even worse." And then all of a sudden, he poked his head through, and to be honest with you, he nearly won by half a length. So in the end, it was a soft enough to win, I guess you could say. Even though it was troublesome, he still was good enough to get the job done. He's a horse I've got a lot of time for. I would be very surprised if he didn't run a mile. And with that being said, if he can run a mile effectively, which I think he will, he's lovely and relaxed, hits the line hard, and just does everything correctly, it opens up a stack more options. I think he can win a Saturday race, sort of, at the very least, one of those Class 3, sort of 14 to 1600s pretty quickly, and then we can reevaluate with him. But for Bob Guth and the guys, it's been a pretty good move so far, and I always like winning in Bob's colours. They're a really good set of silks, and we've had a great deal of luck for them so far. So long may it continue, and he's been a welcome addition, winning 3 or 4, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, bloody well done. And Tobe gave him Dean Firth there a shout out, and it looks like it was good to hear Andrew Mallion say next prep he thinks he might just be even better this horse. He might really measure up to Metro grade, so that's exciting for the guys. Tobe, just a quick touch on Grafton through the week. We've got a couple of things to look forward to, I suppose. Mayosi going towards the Wink Skinnies there on Saturday, and Grafton. What's our involvement going to be like at Grafton?
Pretty limited. If it doesn't rain, we probably won't be going. But except with Mr. Bellagio in the Ramornie, if by chance a shower rain comes and the track is wet or softish, we'll probably have a crack at it. But other than that, we're not going to Grafton this year. We can't go there ourselves. It's the first time in like 20-something years I haven't been there, so unfortunate. But
Wow.
Yeah, anyhow, it is what it is, and hope the border opens on Friday as well, and it would have been great to be able to go, but anyway, we can't.
Yeah, no, good as gold. All right, we might get a bit of rain, and Mr. Bellagio's been in super form, so look out for that if we do get a bit of moisture. Excellent, guys. Well, thank you for your time. We hope you have a really good week, and we'll be touching base later on.
Cheers, Brucey. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Bye-bye.